ordered. First thing on the agenda is discussion. Any discussion? If not, we will go to the resolutions. The first resolution is resolution establishing the position of law associate part-time. Sponsor?
I'll sponsor.
And,
Second.
Mike,
I'll second.
any discussion on this? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Okay, second one, a resolution authorizing the county executive to sign a renewal agreement, Benefit Medical Solutions LLC. Sponsor? Sponsor, Maria?
I'll second.
Second, Kurt?
Yep.
Any discussion on this?
Yes, Nicole, do you have any, in the financial impact, any way of estimating what it's gonna be in a range?
Sorry, we generally spend about $65,000. It's pre-employment, it's drug and alcohol testing, random post-accident. We do have some additional costs this year because there's additional responsibilities for hearing, for dispatch, and some other things that came through state legislation. So,
Okay, it's kind of budgeted, or,
I budgeted 65 so far, but
okay,
that
it could go up,
it could go up.
okay, thank you.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? The next resolution, a resolution authorizing an agreement to utilize NASH as an additional international pharmacy provider. A sponsor, any second? Herb? Go ahead, Nicole.
So this is an additional pharmacy, as legislator mentioned. That hopefully, if this goes into place, this will, it should save us about $70,000 a month in some of our pharmaceuticals. So with that being said, it's really important that this goes through, given the rising cost of pharmacy.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? What's the last one?
The PBA MOA.
I have last is resolution with a memorandum of agreement by the County of Montgomery and the Montgomery County Sheriff Department and the Montgomery County Deputy Sheriff. Have a sponsor. Herb sponsors. I'll second it. Okay. Nicole, you wanna talk about this a little bit, or?
I'll say a few things.
Okay.
This is what we discussed in an executive session back during the budget session, and working with Nicole, she helped develop the resolution, and Bill Wallens from Mullen Wallens and Bill developed a memorandum of agreement, and this just finalizes it and makes it take effect January 1. So it's exactly what we talked about.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Okay. Anything under other? If not, motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second. Ready, Pat?
Ready.
Okay. It's 6:03. I'd like to call to order the Health and Human Services Committee. This is a committee of the whole. First on the agenda is discussion. Anything? Hearing none, we'll go into our resolutions. The first resolution is authorizing the county executive to sign an agreement with Catholic Charities for the operation of the warming station for social services. May I have a sponsor? Legislator Pollock and Legislator Kelly. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstains? That will move on. Next is a resolution authorizing the county executive to sign agreements for services approved for use in 2026 for social services. Your sponsor? Legislator Headwell and Chairman Pep. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Next is a resolution authorizing the county executive to sign an agreement with IPH for Code Blue services at Danielle's House for Social Services. Sponsored Legislator Pollock and Legislator Kelly. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions. And finally tonight is a resolution authorizing the county executive to sign a contract with Steuben County Department of Social Services 2026 for social services. I have a sponsor,
I'll
Legislator
sponsor.
Pollock and Legislator Headwell. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions. Okay, anything under other? Hearing none, I need a motion to adjourn. Legislator Kelly and Legislator Sweet.
Ready, Pat?
Yep.
Okay, we'll call the Public Safety Committee to order at 6:05. First thing on the agenda is discussion. We have representatives here from EMR, EMS Billing, Peter and Jason Berry, if you want to introduce, or you want to.
Yeah, sure. This is Peter and Jason Berry from EMR. And as we discussed during the budget session, you wanted a presentation about the billing and how it took place and the numbers that were left on the table and the procedure for potentially looking at that. And these gentlemen are here prepared to answer your questions and to provide information on the process. So I'm pretty sure that they can speak up and be heard from here. But if you need to, you can speak up to them.
So to give you an update on where we are with billing for the county EMS system, to date, we've brought in about $835,000 in revenue. Outstanding, it looks like the AR at about 180 days is about $300,000. Some of that is contractual write-offs for Medicare and Medicaid. We continue to vigorously work on everything that is outstanding. To give you a little bit of background on how the billing process works, when the 911 system takes a call and one of the county ambulances responds, a patient care report is generated by the crew. It gets submitted to us. We review the chart for compliance purposes, meeting medical necessity, having appropriate signature compliance. ICD-10 codes are attached, charges are applied, and then it gets submitted electronically to the payer. Follow-up occurs on that if it's not paid in a timely fashion. Medicare is usually around 21 days. All of their payers have multiple timelines depending on the type of payer and whether they contract with a third-party service to negotiate. All of our invoicing that goes to your patients encourages them to contact us if they have any difficulty with paying. There's verbiage on the invoice itself. There's also FAQs on our website to help them navigate the process, and then obviously they can call us. And we are a US-based company with US-based call center. We speak English. We really work with your patient's population to make sure that they can get through the claims process as easily as possible. And one of the things that we've talked to the sheriff about, and I know we've had previous discussions about the potentiality of going to a medical debt collector. I know you have some concerns over that. I've discussed it with the sheriff as well. We have many clients that go to medical debt collections. We do have a partnership with a collector called CAC. You can design a policy that makes sense for the county, that would exclude folks that are on fixed incomes. You could set a threshold. Normally, your patients get 3 invoices and then they would get a letter. They have to be notified before they can be sent to collections. They would get that warning letter before they would go. I have clients that say if nobody responds to the 3 mailings, a phone call, they go to collections. We have clients that set a $300 limit, that only folks that owe more than $300 go to collections. That eliminates all of your Medicare population. It all just depends on how you want to do it, and we obviously want to design a policy that makes sense for you, it makes sense for the county residents, for those folks, to make sure that nobody gets hurt. We can recall anything from collections at any time, and continue to process it. If once the debt collector contacts them and they have health insurance, we can take it back and we can process their health insurance and help them with their payments. So we offer payment plans. Again, we do everything we can to assist your patient population with satisfying their claims, to help reach your revenue goals for providing an effective service to the county residents. Do you have any questions?
The 800, is that just in calendar year 25? You said year to date, or is that since the program opened?
I believe she gave me a year-to-date projection. Let me just look at the date on the top. Yeah, it's 1/1/25 to 10/31/25. That's just this year.
And what was the dollar figure that was 6 months or older?
300.
300 something?
Yeah.
And so, at what intervals do the letters go out? You know, I mean, I used to work for a bank, so
Right.
it was usually,
Everything's on a schedule.
yeah, what's the schedule?
And the claim from point of origin can change schedules at multiple times during the track, depending on where it goes. Like if it's a straight fee-for-service traditional Medicare, it will go electronically out to Medicare. They usually pay in 21 days. After it comes back, if they had a secondary payer, it would go on another schedule to that secondary payer. Then it would come back. There would be a patient responsibility component. It would drop down to what's called a self-pay schedule. They would get an invoice every 15 days for a total of 3 invoices, and then it would go into what we call write-off review. Depending on if they have commercial insurance and depending on whether the commercial insurance carrier has a negotiator like multi-plan, the schedule can take a little bit longer because it would go out to multi-plan. We would refuse to negotiate or come to a settlement. Then it would drop down to patient responsibility and so forth. It really just depends on, and then how many insurances. Some people have 2 or 3 insurance carriers. You know, the schedule changes based on the patient's insurance and their patient responsibility or copayment.
So, of that $300,000 figure, that's 180 or more, would you say that it has all gone, I mean, to me, I got no concerns with things that are going through, you know, the medical billing process and multiple payers.
Yep.
I think what we're most concerned with is what meat's left on the bone.
Yep.
Once that's all done, and how can we go after that, perhaps, from individuals? So would you say that the 300 that's sitting at 180 or more has gone through all those gauntlets, all payers, and has
Pretty
also
much.
been
Pretty much.
gotten 3 warning letters that this is going to collection
Well,
for the balance?
Three
Or three
invoices
invoices.
and a warning. 3
Okay.
invoices and a warning letter.
So everything that sits in 180 or greater has gone through every medical billing conduit that it needs to go through, and they've gotten bills for the individual bills for whatever balance it is.
That's correct.
What's the collection agency, CAC, you said?
CAC, yep.
Do they have a policy as to what to do with the people in the 180 category?
Yes, so, the county would obviously have to enter into a contractual arrangement with them. They are integrated into our software, so once a claim hits a certain duration on the schedule, it would automatically transition over to them. They would manage the claim, collect any monies, the monies would come back to us and then directly into your account. You know, obviously, collection rates and medical debt collection is relatively low. It's 3 to 5%.
Right. Okay.
So,
Yeah.
you know, it's not a significant amount of money, but it's some money.
Mhm.
And it also gets the word out, because one of the issues with medical debt collection is the word gets out if you don't go to collections. So they just ignore the mailings and they don't pay.
Mhm.
You know, whether staff, officials, anybody, you know, somebody comes to them with an ambulance bill, hey, what do I do this? And they say, well, don't worry about it, the county doesn't go to collections. Then that word starts to get out, and
Mhm.
then people don't pay. They don't make their co-payments, they don't make their, you know, monthly payments, because there's no harm, nothing's gonna happen.
Right.
And then you have to ask yourself as county officials, you know, how do you manage somebody that doesn't pay their bills, whether it be, you know, the county taxes or whatever other fees that you charge for other services, how do you manage those? There are a lot of protections put in place by the state, with regards to medical debt collection. So nobody really gets hurt by medical debt collection, but one of the things that debt collectors are really good about is finding people.
Mhm.
You know, and people tend to ignore some of our mailings where they don't necessarily ignore so. And you would be surprised, you know, we do get a lot of responses from our final warning letter, but, you know, the debt collector does find people, they're very good at finding people, and they do bring in some money. It's not a lot, but it's still some of that meat that's on the bone that you're looking for.
Is that money, the 300, does it just pertain to 25, or is there stuff in that 180 category that pertain to 24 too, that's still on the books? Do you have a charge-off
Well,
policy? once
So
it
we
reaches-
do have a write-off policy.
Yeah.
I would say if we have a fault of our own, we tend to carry stuff longer than we should. And the reason for that is I have some very passionate workers that work in follow-up, and they just don't like to let go of stuff. And every once in a while, my operations manager and myself, we have to look at it and say, hey, it's time to write this off. Because the longer you carry it, it makes the reports not look as good.
Absolutely.
And,
Yep.
and we have to just write it off.
Yeah.
But our folks do have, there is a certain timeline that we follow, and we do write-off review, and then eventually, especially for clients that don't go to collections, we'll take a last look at it, make sure we've done our due diligence, they've got their mailings, they've got their phone calls, and then we decide to write it off.
If it's not a set period of time, if you had to estimate it, is it 6 months out? Is it, where you've reached the end of your collection rope?
Well, the hard part about it is that because of those multiple different schedules, you know, and the fact that you can bill a Medicare claim for almost a year, depending on what the issues are, if we're having trouble getting a signature and stuff like that, as a general rule, we take it out a year.
Okay, that's,
Because especially if we
I think
get
that's a
one of
good
those,
idea. Yeah.
those folks that we didn't get information on, and then we
Yeah.
finally reach them, and they have insurance, and then we need to bill it out. So
Okay.
we will hang on to it for almost a year.
and have they had any success collecting money from people who have reached that point of no return up to this point, or no?
Oh, absolutely. You know, my son could tell you from personal experience, his wife does our no-fault and workers' comp, is that we're constantly working claims and continue to work claims and follow-up. Like, there was an incident where there was a parent and a child that were involved in a motor vehicle crash, the no-fault claim paid for the parent, but not the child. She's continuing to work that, found the information, got in touch with the claims adjuster. We couldn't figure out why they didn't pay for the infant, then finally they paid. And that was almost a year after the incident. And that was due to her hard work and follow-up on the claim. So, we're always working follow-up in the backlog to try to get as much juice or meat off the bone as we possibly can for you. The other thing you should be aware of, I've been talking to the sheriff about too, as we go into the new year, is possibly adjusting your rates. Is to make some adjustment and do a slight increase in your rates for next year.
Probably something you should have a policy to do, you know, every year or every
Well,
other year.
we're in very close contact
Yeah.
with the sheriff's office, and one of the things that, you know, I spoke to the sheriff about, and we talked about it, and he talked about doing a resolution for the annual fee schedule in January.
Thank you.
Earlier, you were talking about having a policy on when to write stuff off, and you mentioned the $300 limit would take care of Medicare.
So we're talking about collections?
Yes.
Yeah, so if we were to create a policy for you to send patients to collections, you can decide at what point in time you want to send them to collections. The hard part about it is, the thing that we have to do is to really tweak the policy also on, is it a per claim, or is it a total accumulated debt? Because if you have a Medicare patient that, let's say, suffers a fall and a fractured hip, they may use the ambulance service 2 or 3 times. At $300 a trip for a co-payment, they would be up to $900. Would we send them to collections or not? And that's where we have to make sure that we design the policy right based on your wishes as to how you want us to manage those claims.
I guess my question, follow-up, would be how much of that 300,000 are those $300 people?
I would have to do a little bit more of a deep dive into that to give you that exact answer. But most folks that are on Medicare that have those, they make an effort to pay. They're of a generation that wants to pay their bills, and they go on to payment plans, or they do whatever is necessary. So I don't think it's a large percentage of that dollar figure.
I just am going back to when we first were talking of establishing the EMS portion of the county, and how we didn't want to make someone feel like they had to pay this bill or starve or, you know, and.
Sure.
And, you know, if a large portion of that is the $300 people, you know, that needs to be something that is also looked at.
The other thing too is people can apply for what's called hardship. The Medicare guidelines allow you, as a government entity, to allow people to apply for hardship, and it gives us options to reduce or eliminate their claim altogether. The real goal of our invoicing and of our call takers is to do whatever we can to help people pay their claims. And if it includes either applying for Medicaid, because it's the only insurance that will cover an incident that's already happened, or it's applying for hardship, we provide them the necessary instructions and tools to do that.
Sorry, Marie. And those, we keep using the $300 number. Is that no payment at all, or there's some payment and 300s remaining?
For managed Medicare, like most of the managed Medicare plans out there, $300 is the standard copayment for an ambulance service.
So it could be the face amount of the original invoice and not a residual.
Correct,
Okay.
correct.
Maria?
If the majority of those 300, of what's outstanding is not the $300 Medicaid patients and Medicare patients, is there a statute of limitations as to how far back you can go to collect?
I believe in New York State it's either 5 or 7 years. 5 or
Okay.
7 years.
Okay.
It sounds to me like you got a good, you know, it's a pretty good policy, you know, charge off after a year perhaps, and, you know, I don't think anybody had a concern with things going through the payment conduits. It was, you know, what's left unpaid, residual balances, and are we doing anything about it? What percentage does the collection agency get, if any, 33% of the, if it goes to collection? And by the way,
I mean,
have you,
what they take,
yeah, their fee.
he negotiates every contract per client, so he would come in and talk to you about that. I don't know his rate, but it's probably somewhere between 30 and 40%. It depends on the size of the client, the number of claims we're gonna be sending him, you know. So it really depends. We would have to get, the gentleman's name is Ed Farr, we would have to get him, you know, in touch with you to give you a better figure.
Have you ever reached a point, and this is something we probably, you know, in dovetailing with Martin's question of here, of not over persecuting people, but you also did speak about a philosophy that, you know, it's good to keep reminding them, you know, so that it gets paid. Has anything ever reached a stage where we have filed a judgment or would consider filing a judgment for a balance?
So you can, and also the part of the contract with the collections agency, because one of their steps is court. Obviously, their fees change when it comes, and then you would have to authorize that court action before they decide to go there.
I don't
But
know if
that
that's something
is
we
a
wanna do.
possibility.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would be an extreme, maybe,
It is.
depicting what
And
Legislator
they would
Kelly's talking
only-
about here, but, you know.
Yeah, they would only recommend that in the event that it's somebody that has an incredibly high credit rating, probably has assets or lots of room on their credit. They would only make those recommendations if the person actually had the ability to pay.
Yep, okay, thank you.
About how many, the money left on the table, how many clients are, how many are we talking about?
Yeah.
Patient numbers?
The numbers of how many cases are being left that haven't paid?
So numbers of claims, I didn't run that report specifically, I just ran dollars, but I could get you those numbers if you wanted them. I can get you those. I just ran an AR report, which doesn't give actual numbers of cases, it gives payers and dollars. So, but I can get you those numbers if you wanna know.
I would bet it's a high item count, if it's 300,000 and it's already gone through all the medical billing and, you know, we're looking at smaller amounts, it's probably a pretty,
It's probably a decent number.
yeah.
Yeah.
So if we wanted to set up a policy, would that be something that you and the sheriff could work together and
Yeah, I would
come
work
back to
with
us?
the sheriff's department, we'd come up with a policy, and obviously he could include it in a resolution.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're all thinking about, you know, going after some of the money, but again, not low income or fixed income or, you know, hardships or whatever, it's, you know, it's, so if you could come up with a policy, Sheriff?
I just wanted to reiterate to Legislator Kelly's point, when we started this EMS program, right, it was because it was a need. And to Lieutenant Smith's credit and the men and women that work in that EMS division, they're doing a fantastic job with the support of EMR. And our revenues are doing very, very well. Probably better than we ever anticipated, and that isn't the goal or the purpose. With that said, everybody does need to understand there's a cost to this service. And when you're utilizing the service, it's not fair that everyone else that may not be utilizing it suffer that burden, right, in the budget or the tax levy. So I think it's just important to say that we're still here to serve patients, and we will continue to do that, but it is part of the business of the entire process.
Sheriff, are we still only going out when there's no other ambulance available? Or-
Either no ambulance available, a longer service time than 45 minutes, or a higher service level is requested, correct, Lieutenant? So if they have a BLS ambulance and it's an ALS call, we will go and assist them.
So we're not 100%?
We have not, no, on occasion, we will take a call if we're closer, but it has to be
Right.
something that's, you know, really drastic, black and white, meaning we're here,
Right.
and the other ambulance is coming from Amsterdam or whatever.
Any other further discussion?
I think with the changes the sheriff's proposed, you're gonna see much higher revenues next year, because there's gonna be more staffing on the road. You're gonna capture more calls, you're gonna capture more revenue, and it'll ultimately reduce the burden on the taxpayers and for the overall program.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, move on to the resolutions. First resolution is a resolution authorizing the county executive to sign New York State Defenders Association Case Management System Software Maintenance Agreement Extension. I need a sponsor.
I'll sponsor.
Which is Headville Jr. and Michelle. Discussion. Hearing none, all's in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Next resolution is a resolution authorizing county executive to sign New York State Indigent Legal Services amended extension contracts for elevator distribution 3R, DCAFA, and distribution 11. I need a sponsor. Michelle? Chair Pep, discussion? Hearing none, all's in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Move that to the full board. Next resolution is resolution authorizing county executive to sign contract agreement with Exxon Enterprises, Inc. Need a sponsor. Maria? I'll second. Discussion? Hearing none, all's in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Move that to the full board. Next resolution, resolution rescinding resolution 59 of 2023. I need a sponsor, Maria, and Legislator Pep. Discussion.
His hand was highest.
This time I'll just throw coffee.
Well, I wanted to be on this one because I'm the one who asked to have it drawn up. That's,
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all's in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Move that to the full board.
I like showing my love for attorneys.
oh, I know why you wanted to be there.
Someone in the audience would differ with that.
Next resolution is a resolution amending the 2025 operating budget. I'll sponsor. I need a second.
I'll second.
Legislator Headwell Jr. Discussion. Hearing none, all's in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Move that to the full board. Anything under other? Hearing none, motion to adjourn. MK,
Second.
MK.
All right, Michelle, why don't, we're gonna leave physical services for the end, so, Michelle, why don't you
Yeah.
fire away?
I would like to call the Economic Development and Planning Committee, to the full board. Any discussion? Hearing none, we do not have any resolutions tonight, so do we have anything under other? Hearing none, can I have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Thank you.
Commish, it's gonna keep you here about 3 minutes longer, because the two in front of you have no resolutions. Okay?
Ready, Pat?
Yes.
I call the Education and Government Committee to order. Is there any discussion from the members or the public? I have 2 items that I'd like to bring up. One, is there anything that we can do so that our website works on Google products?
It's in the process.
Okay.
It's
serious issue. Most people are either Apple or Google nowadays, and half the people can't get to the website.
Mhm.
And is there any way to improve the way election results are posted to our website? Counties all across, the state are posting, they can tell us who won the New York City election, and we're waiting till 11. I mean, it's supposed to be all computerized. It shouldn't take as long as it does. So those are two things that, on my way out, I think should really be addressed. It might not be air conditioners and windows, but it's something.
Two good points.
I can talk again to the appropriate people regarding those two matters.
Thank you.
Again, I can talk to them.
Well,
I know about the second one a lot because I was there watching as well,
Yeah.
waiting.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I'll bring that up.
Martin, the first one brought up, I was just talking to Dan the other day, and he says that's almost done, it's gonna be taken care of, we're gonna be changing to a .gov, and that will kinda help things along.
so why did it last so long that we were out there but not out there?
He says there was a problem with Google.
Oh, problem with Google, and it only affected Montgomery County.
Well, this is a conversation we had, because they talked to me, he said it was a problem with Google, and for some reason it messed up, and by changing to a .gov is gonna fix a lot of the problems. But there's other problems in dealing with websites in the county that need to be also addressed, so, and he was bringing up those issues also.
Is there anything else under other? Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
MK, MP.
All right, thank you. All right, on behalf of legislator Majewski, who is not here, I'd like to call the Budget and Finance Committee meeting to order, and ask if there's any items for discussion. Hearing none, we'll get into the resolutions. Our first resolution authorizing the county treasurer to disperse mortgage tax money. I'll sponsor it. Do I have a second?
Second.
Legislator Kowalczyk. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? And the second and final resolution to approve abstract of audited claims. I have a sponsor. Herb, second. Michelle, all in favor?
Aye.
Or, I'm sorry, discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? All right. And motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Legislators Kelly and Kowalczyk, the MK twins.
For a couple more.
All right, now I'd like to call the Physical Services Committee to order at 6:33 and ask if there's any items for discussion. Hearing none, our first resolution, resolution authorizing the county executive to execute change order with West Winds Contracting and amend the 2025 operating budget. Do I have a sponsor? Legislator Kelly?
I'll second.
Legislator Allen. Discussion. Commish, why don't you explain what's gone on here and how we're gonna get our money back? I know it's kind of explained in the resolution, but it'll help dovetail with subsequent conversation.
So, as everybody's aware, we went out for bid to replace concrete floor, rehabilitation of the facility. Once we got doing demo in there, there were some steel, supports that that were supports for the front portion of the building. Those steel beams were ordered and replaced. We had to replace two headers for the overhead doors that were damaged previously by contractors utilizing the facility under our contractor's watch. Those were authorized to be replaced. 48 hours after the facility opened, we're waiting for the new tin to show up. They were doing repairs to the exterior. Our contractor was, as we hired him to do. A waste provider DPW has agreed to make the county whole on the repairs, but we also, we stepped back and took a look at it and said, well, to prevent this from happening again, we should install temporary doors from what was originally designed for the facility. And that's what's all included in this.
Is it just a verbal or oral agreement that they're gonna pay it, or did you get something from them in writing?
I've got emails, I've got conversations back and forth in emails between myself.
And our council is well apprised of this,
She's
correct?
been involved in discussions.
Okay.
Like I said, it'll either be by them, you know, cutting a check direct to our contractor, or by them make, you know, monthly deductions out of what they're paid for the services.
Okay. Any further questions, discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? All right, that moves on, and our next item, a resolution authorizing transfer of funds to cover the increased cost of electricity.
I'll sponsor.
Legislator Sweet,
I'll second.
Legislator Allen. Discussion.
It's a good thing we're doing this. We don't wanna do December's meeting in the dark like mine.
No, we don't. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? All right, now I'd like to make a motion to enter into executive session pursuant to Public Officers Law 105-1H regarding proposed acquisition, sale, or lease of real property, and Public Officers Law 108-3, any matter made confidential by federal or state law. Do I have a second?
Second.
Legislator Sweet.
And who are we?
I would like to have Ken, Eric, and certainly Peter here.
Your clerk.
Yes, sir.
You didn't wait till the door actually closed.
I got the nod.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, I'd like to accept a motion to adjourn the physical services.
Second.
And it's adjourned. See you all next week.
What I do, Martin?
No way, you
Very
were
good.
not. Hey, stay around, didn't you?